The leader who had no title.
What is leadership? Leadership has nothing to do with the title on your business card or the size of your office. Leadership is not about how much money you make or the clothes you wear. Leadership is a philosophy. It's an attitude, it's a state of mind, and it's available to each one of us. Here's an example. I spend a lot of my life on airplanes and traveling, so I'm hard on my luggage. The handle on my carry-on luggage broke after my tour of Russia a few months ago. Anyway, I take the piece in to Evex, a dealer in Toronto. The young man at the counter treated me wonderfully, and within a few days the handle was fixed. While in New York a week ago, the handle broke again. I assumed that I'd have to pay for the repair when I went back into Evex. Most business put clients through so many hurdles. If you haven't saved the receipt, you are out of luck. If you don't know who did the initial repair, we cannot help you, etc. Well, Evex is different. They just get it. They understand that without treating their customers well, there is no business. When I explained that the handle broke again, the young woman at the counter, without a moment of hesitation, apologized for the problem I faced. She then said, "We will promise you that you will have your carry-on in perfect order within 3 days. And of course, sir, there will be no charge, no bureaucracy around needing the receipt from the previous repair. No hassles, no issues, just great service with a giant smile." This woman showed leadership. She quickly diagnosed the problem, assumed personal responsibility, and made the right decision, and she wowed her customer in the process. What will you do to be the leader that you are destined to be today? World-class language. Language offers a framework for meaning. Think about that powerful idea for a second. We understand the world through words. The words you use determine the way you perceive reality. If you call a stumbling block a problem, or a big mess, you will create a different emotional state within you then. If you call the issue an opportunity, or a challenge that will only make me better. I have the privilege as a success coach to work with many extraordinarily successful people from around the world. One of their core traits of greatness is that the vast majority of them understand the power of the word. They use world-class language. Not only do they refrain from using profanities, but they use the language of passion. They use the language of leadership. They use the language of possibility. They use the language of love. Who made success a bad word? Too many people believe that there's something wrong with aiming to be really successful. I've heard it a lot these days. The suggestion that if you strive for success, you must not be all that concerned with making a difference and being significant. It's almost as if being a go-getter is incompatible with being compassionate, socially conscious, and good. Well, here's my take on the success versus significance issue. An extraordinary life contains both. Without success, I have a sense that the best part of you will feel a little hollow. Part of what makes us human is the hunger to realize our greatest gifts and live life fully. We were built to shine. And without significance, I believe that we will feel that we have walked the planet in vain. There's nothing wrong with being an elite performer and taking the steps required to become a remarkable success in this world. Success is actually a creative pursuit and a reflection of healthy self-esteem. And while you realize success, I invite you to stay devoted to elevating the lives you touch and leaving your world better than you found it. That's the significance piece. With both, you'll discover your greatest life. The power of daily practices. Success, world-class health, internal fulfillment, and sustained happiness don't just happen. These elements of your best life are created. All too often we look at a human being playing their best game on the playing field of life and assume they got lucky or were born into their lofty condition. What we don't see is all the devotion and discipline that went into crafting the extraordinary results we see. What I'm suggesting is that personal and professional greatness takes work. I'm not someone who would ever tell you that you could get to your dreams without having to make some sacrifices and pay the price in terms of dedication and self-control. The best amongst us make it all look so easy. I call it the swan effect. Elite performers make personal excellence look effortless and seem to make things happen as gracefully as a swan moves along the water. But like the swan, what you don't get to see is all the hard work taking place below the surface. The best way to create spectacular results in the most important areas of your life is through daily practice. In my life, I have a series of practices that set me up for a great day. Yes, sometimes life sends you unexpected challenges that knock you off track. That's just life happening. But with a series of practices to keep you at your best, You'll stay in a positive state much more often. Practices that will lock you into your best state include a morning journaling session where you record your feelings, thoughts, and the blessings you are grateful for. Or you may start your day with a strong workout and an elite performer's meal. I often listen to music for 15 minutes, as it not only energizes me, it just makes life better. I also use success statements or affirmations to get my mind focused. Success and joy and inner peace don't just show up. You need to create them. Find your series of practices, perform them with consistency, and then go out into this beautiful world of ours and shine. The eyes of leadership. The sad fact is that most people see the worst in others. They see them through the eyes of their own anger, fear, and limitation. If someone shows up late for a meeting, they impute a negative intent on that person, saying, "They are so rude." If someone makes a mistake on an expense report, they grumble, "That person is so dishonest." If someone miscommunicates a point, they silently say, "She's a liar." Leaders are different. They look for the best in people. I want to be clear. I'm not suggesting that leaders do not confront reality. Not at all. What I'm saying is that the best leaders see through the eyes of understanding. If someone is late, they try to get to the truth. Maybe there's a time management problem to coach around, or a sick child to help. An error on an expense account could be the result of a poor process in place or the employee's disorganization. The miscommunication might be all about the person communicating having weak skills in this area, an opportunity for improvement. Today, rather than looking for the worst in people, I invite you to look for what's best within them. Sure, some people really are inconsiderate or dishonest or uncaring. But in my experience, and I've worked with a lot of people over the years, most people are good. Few human beings wake up in the morning and ask themselves, "What can I do today to mess up someone else's day or undermine my credibility?" Most of the mistakes people make are the result of a lack of awareness. And here's the payoff for you. As you seek out the good in people, not only will they want to show up more fully for you, but you will see more good in your world. The myth of personal transformation. Too many people believe that playing their best game as a human being requires them to revolutionize their lives. And for most of us, that's a scary thought. No one wants to make massive changes to the way they think, feel, and behave. Human beings love staying within the comfort zone. But guess what? In my work as a success coach with people around the world, I've realized that lasting personal change does not require you to turn your life upside down. The best way to get to your greatness is through small, continuous steps, what I call the 1% wins. If you improve your health only 1% each day for the next 30 days, you will see a 30% increase in that dimension of your life in only 1 month. Same for every other area of your life, from your relationships to your career. Doesn't seem so scary now, does it? Can you make those little improvements in the areas most in need of improvement? Absolutely. Live fully now. Too many human beings postpone living. We say that we will live our best lives when we have more time, or when we finish the pressing projects that are consuming us. We tell those around us that we will be more loving and passionate when things slow down. We promise ourselves that we will get into world-class physical condition and eat healthier food when we have a little bit more time. Yet, deep within us, each one of us knows that there will never be a better time to live our biggest life than now. And if not today, then when? Simplify, then focus. Henry David Thoreau shouted, "Simplify, simplify, simplify" in his breathtakingly good book, Walden. Nice point. One of the primary reasons that people and organizations fail to get to greatness is that they try to be too many things to too many people. I'll use the Confucius quote I often use here. "Man who chases two rabbits catches neither." The most successful human beings are wildly focused. They have a very clear picture of what it is they want to create by the time they reach the end of their lives. And then they have the discipline and courage to stick to their mission, saying no to everything that is not mission critical. Same for every other area of your life, from your relationships to your career. Doesn't seem so scary now, does it? Can you make those little improvements in the areas most in need of improvement? Absolutely. Live fully now. Too many human beings postpone living. We say that we will live our best lives when we have more time, or when we finish the pressing projects that are consuming us. We tell those around us that we will be more loving and passionate when things slow down. We promise ourselves that we will get into world-class physical condition and eat healthier food when we have a little bit more time. Yet, deep within us, each one of us knows that there will never be a better time to live our biggest life than now. And if not today, then when? Simplify, then focus. Henry David Thoreau shouted, "Simplify, simplify, simplify," in his breathtakingly good book, Walden. Nice point. One of the primary reasons that people and organizations fail to get to greatness is that they try to be too many things to too many people. I'll use the Confucius quote I often use here: "Man who chases two rabbits catches neither." The most successful human beings are wildly focused. They have a very clear picture of what it is they want to create by the time they reach the end of their lives. And then they have the discipline and courage to stick to their mission, saying no to everything that is not mission critical. So my gentle suggestion to you is to simplify your life. Strip away all that is unimportant. These are the things keeping you from getting to your dreams. And then once you do your cleanup, focus, focus, focus. You'll be surprised how good you will then get at being great. How to get good at life. Life is a skill, and like any other skill, once you know the ground rules and make the time to practice, you can get better. If you really devote yourself to life, you could even reach a place of mastery. Some have. I suggest to you that there are 3 simple things you can do to get good at life. 1. Pay attention to life. It's really easy to let life act on you, to fall asleep to life. Some people have lost entire decades this way, and they never got them back. Try and write in a journal each morning before you walk out into your world. Think about what goals you need to accomplish that day and write them down. Think about what are your most closely held values. Think about what lessons you've learned from the previous day. What good is making a mistake if you don't learn from it? 2. Engage in life. I've learned something as I've grown older. The more you give to life, the more it gives to you. Over dinner last night with some friends, we began to speak of goal setting. But why set goals when life can be so uncertain? One asked me. My reply: just because life is so unpredictable doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise your power to do your best. Set your goals, make your plans, take action and chase your dreams. That's what personal responsibility is all about. But once you've done your best, let go and let life do the rest. She looked deeply into her pad thai. 3. Enjoy life. We take life too seriously. But at the end, the billionaire gets buried next to the street sweeper. We all end up as dust. And no matter how long you will live, each of us isn't here all that long in the grand scheme of things. So let's not take ourselves too seriously. Let's enjoy the ride. Your 4-minute mile. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once observed, "Most people take the limits of their vision to be the limits of the world. A few do not. Join them." Profound point. The life you see this very moment isn't necessarily the life of your future. You might be viewing things through the eyes of your fears, limitations, and false assumptions.
Once you clean up the stained glass window you see the world through, guess what? A whole new set of possibilities appear. Remember, we see the world not as it is, but as we are. That idea changed my life. Years ago, it was believed that no human being could ever break the 4-minute mile barrier. But after Roger Bannister broke it, many more replicated his feat within weeks. Why? Because he showed people what was possible. And then, armed with that belief, people did the impossible. What's your 4-minute mile? What bill of goods have you sold yourself as to what's impossible? What false assumptions are you making in terms of what you cannot have, do, and be? Your thinking creates your reality. If you think something cannot occur in your life, then there's no way you will take the action required to make that goal a reality. Your impossibility thinking becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your perceived limitations become the chains that keep you from the greatness you were meant to be. And where's the leadership in that? Call your parents, kiss your spouse, and hug your kids. Ever notice that it's the people we love most that we take most for granted? Odd, isn't it? It's easy to spend less time with your family because they will always be there for you, or so you assume. It's easy to put off expressing your love to your loved ones because there seems to be no urgency at play. It's easy to let home relationships slip because you assume there are more pressing things to deal with. But what could possibly be more important than your family? Is there any wisdom in being successful yet alone? So pick up the phone and tell your parents that you love them. Before you leave from work, give your spouse a kiss like you mean it. And please, please, please hug your kids. Enjoy them while you can. they'll only be young once. And once that window of opportunity closes, it will be gone forever. No train, no gain. What do the Ritz-Carlton, the Hotel Victor in Miami, Nike, Amazon, Omni Healthcare, IBM, Satyam Computer, and other organizations that consistently deliver near flawless execution around world-class customer service have in common? Their management understands that money spent on training is not an expense, it's an investment. If your greatest resource is your people, and who wouldn't agree with that, then it only makes sense that your biggest investment should be in your people, developing them, growing them. In hard economic times, what's the first thing short-sighted companies cut? You guessed it, the training budget. Unbelievable. What message does that send to people? Spectacular success in business doesn't come by luck. The best companies didn't get to their lofty positions by chance. The great ones didn't reach the mountaintop by coincidence. They got there by relentlessly focusing on the right things, like delivering outrageous value to their customers, like innovating like there's no tomorrow, and by investing in the human beings who are at the heart and soul of the enterprise. How easy it is to forget that the true worth of your organization walks in through the front doors of your building every morning and leaves through them every night. No train, no gain. Thank you.